morning, children. Well, in today's class of economic application, we shall take up a topic that is factors of production. Of course, we've already started this lesson and we're doing second factor of production, that is labor. Well, in today's class, we shall talk about the efficiency of labor, the factors affecting efficiency of labor, and we will also see the various causes of low efficiency of Indian labor, and we shall also make some suggestions to improve the efficiency of the Indian laborers. Okay, but before that, a better recap on what we did in the last class. Well, in the last class we talked about labor and various kinds of labor and the different characteristics of labor. That's what we studied in the last class, and we shall begin the lesson now, that is the efficiency of labor. So let's get started. First of all, the meaning. What does efficiency of labor mean? Okay, now see, by efficiency of labor, we mean the productive capacity of a worker. Okay, now it indicates, what does it indicate then? Well, it indicates the capacity of the worker to do more work and a better work in a given period of time. Okay, so in short, say other things remaining the same. Okay, we're talking about other factors remaining the same. All right, if the worker produces more than the other workers, then he will be called what? More efficient. Okay, right? So in this context, we will see first the factors affecting the efficiency of labor. See, there are so many factors, there are so many factors which makes the labor efficient or inefficient. Okay, now we will see that one by one. All right, the first factor that we are going to discuss today is racial and hereditary qualities. Now see, what does this mean? That see, the efficiency of a labor to some extent, it depends upon the racial and the hereditary qualities. Okay, now for example, children who are born, to the parents who are intelligent and those who are hardworking, So these people normally they inherit these qualities from their parents. So efficiency also, this is efficiency is also one of the qualities, isn't it? Okay, so it depends upon the hereditary qualities. You understood? Okay, so if you, as I said just now, if you're born to a parents who are very hardworking or very efficient and all, you normally inherit such qualities in you. Alright, so it depends upon your racial or hereditary qualities also. Right, then what is the second factor then? Well, the second factor is climate. Okay, now see, climatic condition, whether it is a hot climate or a cold climate, also affects the efficiency of labor. All right, see, the working capacity of the worker, the working capacity of the worker reduces in the hot and the humid climate if you compare to the workers of the cold climate. Okay, so workers in the cold climate, why? Because in hot and humid climate, you already get so tired and lethargic, so you will not be able to give your best. I mean, you'll not be able to work properly. All right, but what about the workers who are working in the colder area? In the worker who works in the colder area, they can work for a longer period of time. Therefore, the efficiency of the labor who are working in the colder region will be more than the workers who work in the hotter or humid region, where they get very tired and lethargic very fast. Okay, so that is also one of the causes of which affects the efficiency of labor. All right, now let us see the third factor then. Well, see, the third factor is standard of living. Okay, now standard of living also to some extent, not to some extent, but it actually, in fact, it greatly affects the efficiency of labor. All right, how? See, the better standard of living makes the labor mentally and physically sound. If you have a better lifestyle, or if you have a better living standard, then what happens? Physically also you'll be very fit, isn't it? And mentally also you'll be very secure and sound. So which in turn it helps in which in turn helps in increasing the efficiency of labor. All right, but suppose if your living standard is very low or poor, then what happens? You will not be mentally or physically sound. So in that way, what happens? It will have a negative effect on your efficiency. You understand? Okay, so that's it. The next point is education and training. Yes, any labor becomes more efficient if he possesses both general and technical education. Okay, you see general education, if you possess general education, the advantage is what, it broadens, general education broadens your outlook and makes you more responsible. Okay, and at the same time, on the other hand, the technical education, trains you to be specialized in your particular field of work. Okay, so both education and training is very important. You understood? Okay, when I say education, it means both general and training. Okay, so general education widens your outlook, and your training makes you more specialized in the job that you are doing. All right. Okay. Next is experience. Yes. Naturally, an experienced worker is more efficient than inexperienced worker, isn't it? Okay, because you've been, what happens when you are experienced? When you're experienced, how do you gain experience? By doing, the same work again and again. Okay, so what happens is slowly you become experienced, isn't it? Okay, so what happens is that that will because since you've been doing that work for so many days or so many weeks or so many years, you've gathered so much of experience that ultimately gives a positive effect on your efficiency. You become more efficient, okay, compared to the person who is not experienced. A person who is not experienced at his work, at his field of work, will be less efficient because he will not possess the much knowledge about what he is doing. You understood? So experience also counts a lot. Experience also adds more to you the efficiency, your efficiency rather. Okay. Well, next is the working condition. Yes, this is also very important factor, working condition. See, a very good and a healthy working condition improves the efficiency of labor. In what way? See, if a laborer works in a place which have, facility of fresh air, well ventilated, if he is working in a well ventilated room, you understood? If there is a proper drinking water facilities, you understood? Okay, then the adequate light, if there is adequate light where you are working, this kind of small things, well ventilated room or well lighted room, I mean to say. Okay, all right, and then where there is fresh or good water facilities, good sanitary facilities, very hygienic place. If you are working in such kind of environment, then what happens? Your efficiency will definitely be more than a person who works in a very unhygienic environment. You understood? Because if you're working in an unhygienic environment, what happens is most of the time you'll be ill. Okay, all right. If you are sick or ill most of the time, then obviously you're going to be unfit for your work. Isn't it? Okay, so working condition also counts a lot. Working condition also affects a lot to the efficiency of a worker. All right, well, so that's it. Now the next point is very important point, that is the level of wages. Okay, now see, the level of wages also affects efficiency of labor to a great extent. Okay, since higher wages, suppose if you are getting higher wages, then obviously what happens, your standard of living will also be high. Okay, higher the wages, higher will be your living standard. Okay, and that way what happen, it will obviously affect the efficiency, your efficiency, isn't it? Okay, but if your wages is very low, okay, then what happens is that most of the time you're thinking about money only. Okay, so your standard of living will also be very less. Okay, if you're earning low, so most of the time your pressure will only be on how to earn more, how to get more income in your family and all those things. Most of the time you'll be thinking all about that only. So that way what happens is that it will have an adverse effect on your efficiency. You understood? So this is very important. That is what the level of wages. Wages means the money that you get in return for the work that you give, for the labor that you give. Okay, well, that's it. Now The next point is, see, duration of work. Yes, duration of work means here the amount or the time that you spend in your work. That is also very important. See, duration of work does affect the efficiency of labor to a lot. A long duration of work will make you what? If your employer makes you work for a longer period of work in a day, for example 12 hours, 13 hours a day, imagine, then what will happen is the most you'll be very what? Tired and lethargic, isn't it? Okay, so it reduces your efficiency, it reduces your efficiency, making you very tired and lethargic or sometimes unwell also. So duration of work is also very important. Okay, maximum, workers should not be, made to work more than 8 hours rather. Okay, if it is less, well and fine, but not more than 8. Okay, because it will reduce your efficiency. Alright, well, the next point is employer and employee relationship. Now, what does this mean? Employer means, of course, employee is the labor, employee is the one who who gives you job or a work. Okay, so the relationship between these two is very important. Okay, why? See, if the relationship is very good, congeal, or say if it is very if they are very, if the relationship between the employer and the employee is friendly or sympathetic, then what happens? Obviously the employer and employee will have a good relationship if they have, if they are friendly, and if they have, if the employee is sympathetic towards his worker, then what happens is that the worker will also be more loyal, faithful. Yes or no, in return. So that way what happens is that he'll try to give maximum of what he can give. Yes or no? So that way what happens is that his efficiency level will also go up. But on the other hand, if it is just the opposite, if the employer is all the time, shouting at the worker and not showing all the time showing his, showing sort of disrespect or dissatisfaction. If that kind of environment is there between the worker and the employer, then what happens? The worker's efficiency, the level of efficiency will also go down. So therefore, efficiency of the labor also depends upon the relationship between them, that is the worker and the employer, or the employee or the employer. Okay, that's very important in fact. Okay, well, so that's it. Now so that's the general, factors affecting the efficiency of labor. Okay, now we will see, in India we see we say that efficiency of labor in India is very low, isn't it? So now we're going to see the various causes behind it. Okay, all right. So, very often we say, as I said just now, the efficiency of Indian labor is much lower compared to those of the laborers in UK or USA. They say, no, we say it like that. Okay, so what are the reason behind it then? Why is the efficiency of Indian labor is very, very low compared to the laborers in UK, USA, etc. Okay, now we will see the reason behind this. All right. Okay, well, the very first reason is the hot climate. Yes, hot climate. Okay, by the way, remember that I'm talking from the Indian point of view. Okay, so we're going to discuss the topic here, why the efficiency of Indian labor is very less compared to the rest in the world. Okay, first is hot climate. Yes, now see, India being a subtropical climate, it experiences a very hot and humid climate. Okay, so see, this is also one of the very, very important natural cause of low efficiency of Indian labor. Okay, because because in such a hot and humid climate, your efficiency level will definitely go down. As I said, because most of the time it will be very hot and you'll be very tired and you feel very lethargic. So in such circumstances, what happens? Your level of efficiency will go down. So this is one of the important and natural cause which leads to low efficiency of Indian labor. All right. Okay. Well, the next factor is, the next cause is the low wages. Yes, see, the wages of Indian, if you see the wages of Indian labor, the wages of Indian labor is very low. Okay, all right, because of which the standard of living of the people is also very low in India. Okay, so what is the result of this? The result of this is that they are poorly fed, okay, and they are not at all in the position to keep themselves physically and mentally fit. You understood? Okay. So this in turn obviously it will affect the efficiency of labor. So money is a very important factor, isn't it? It works as a, money or a wage, it works as a catalyst, okay? It works as a catalyst for you to work hard. Okay, it is a very, the higher wages and bonuses that we talk about are the, it works like a catalyst, as I said. In fact, it is a very good incentive for you to work hard. The more the wages, you get more encouragement to work hard. So obviously, your efficiency level will also go up if you are getting higher level of wages. But if your level of wages is very less, then obviously everything gets upset. You will not be in the position to maintain yourself physically and mentally fit. So the outcome will be what? Your efficiency level will go down. So this is one of the cause, okay, of low efficiency of Indian laborers. All right. The next factor is, or the next cause is incongenial environment. Yes. See, very often what we see is that, the Indian workers have to work in such an unhygienic environment. You understood? The working environment where they work is very, very unhygienic, and they are hardly provided with facilities of canteens or recreation or relaxation. This kind of facilities are not there. Therefore, what happens? All this leads to the adverse effect towards their efficiency. Okay. See, you work hard. Alright, but at the same time you also need some leisure time or some relaxation time, isn't it? Okay, this you work for 2-3 hours, means at least an hour of break you require for relaxing or for recreation, so that you re-energize yourself again, isn't it? Okay, but this kind of environment is not there. The working environment is very uncongenial and very unhygienic and very unhealthy, and because of this it affects their efficiency. Understood? Well, the next cause is migratory character. Yes, this is very important. See, Indian, if you see, migratory character means, first of all, what I want to say is that, Indian workers are very, very migratory in character. You understand? Okay, so this kind of, or this type of migratory character will definitely affect their efficiency. To cite an example, if you see in India, majority of the laborers, they migrate from villages to the towns and the cities for work. Okay, and they work in factories and industries. Okay, they migrate from villages, they shift or they migrate to, to towns and cities, and there they work in some factories and industries. But at the same time, when the harvesting season comes, they grow crops and they come here. When the harvesting season comes, they again go back to their house. They migrate back to their house. They go back to their houses during harvesting season. And then they spend around 4-5 months, again they go back to the factories too. So that way, this kind of migratory character, there is no continuity of the work. So when do you, if you do not have continuity in your work, then you cannot gain experience, isn't it? Okay, all right. If you have such kind of break after 4 months or 5 months, every time if you keep breaking in between your job or work, then what happens is that you will not be able to gain experience. And if you do not have, if you do not gain experience in the work that you do, then you will not be able to be efficient. Efficiency level will go down, isn't it? Okay, so this kind of migratory character of Indian workers, like going to and fro from one, not only from migrating from villages to towns for jobs, not only that, but also migrating from one job to another job. They are always, obviously, as I said just previously, that they are very, very, their wages are very poor. They are very paid very low. Okay, so because of that, the workers are always in the opportunity to get a better work and better wages. So the moment they get a little bit of better wages, they will move on, or they will migrate either to next job or next place. So this way, what happens? Their efficiency levels will go down. Okay, so this is also one of the causes. Okay, well, the next is education and training. Yes, see, if you see, Indian workers very often do not possess proper education and training, training of the work that they are doing. Okay, they hardly have any sort of education or training of the work that they are doing. Okay, so what happens is that they, they do have some education. They are not specialized. They don't get special. They do a little bit of work out of experience, or just because they have learned it from their forefathers or something like that. So they do not have proper education. They lack proper education, and also they do not have any training about the work that they are doing. Okay, so they just and in India, for producers also, they always look for, they don't give much importance for the workers who are educated and trained. They give a lot of importance for the workers who are ready to work in a low wages. Okay, so what happens is that they don't give importance to education and training. They give importance to what? To cheap workers. Okay, so that way also what happens, the workers also, they are ready to work. As I said, they hardly have any bargaining powers also. They are just ready to work at any amount of money that they are given by the producers. So they also don't bother about the education or the training about the work that they're doing. So this way what happens is that their efficiency will be very less. Okay, well, that's it. Then you see, we saw so many causes right now. There are so many causes, of course. These are some the causes that I discussed right now are the main causes. Okay, so these are the causes why the efficiency of Indian labor are tremendously low in our country. Okay, now let us try to make some suggestion in order to improve the efficiency of labor. So to improve the efficiency of Indian labor, I shall make some suggestions here. Let us find out what are those. Well, see, first of all is that, as I said in the beginning of the lesson also, that money is a very important factor. Wages, isn't it? Wages works like a what? Catalyst, I said, no, for them. So so therefore, keeping that in mind, see, the payment of what? Wages should be fair, okay, and prompt, and as far as possible, they should also be given some bonuses of the profit that the producers are earning. Okay, so if the wages are fair, then what happens? The worker will be sort of stable. They will not think of migrating from one place to another place, and simply pronouncing that I'm going to give this much of wage or that much of wage is not enough. Wages has to be prompt. Okay, it's not like at the end of the month they should be getting their wages, not after 3 months or 4 months, because they have to run their family. If they do not get fair wages or prompt wages, then they will be forced to migrate from one place to another place, or from one job to another job. Okay, so the payment of wages should be very fair, prompt, and as far as possible, they should also be given what? Bonuses of the profit that the producers earn. Okay, well, that's the first suggestion. Then next is, see, working environment. As I said in the in the previous points, that working environment is very important. So what happened? The working environment should be hygienic, and it should also be improved. Okay, all right. And then very important thing is that social security measures should be taken, okay, by the government, so that they have some sort of security in life. Now, what kind of social security measures? Like, for example, public provident fund, okay, or say pension fund. So this kind of social security measures will give a sort of security for the workers. Yes, sir. So such kind of measures should be adopted by the government, not only by the government, also by the private entrepreneurs. Okay, for the security, keeping in mind the security of the workers who are working for them. Alright, next is hours of work should not be more than 8 hours. Yes, there should be a proper time prescribed. I mean, the hours of work prescribed, say not more than 8 hours, I said. If it exceeds more than 8 hours, then workers might work out of compulsion, but their efficiency may not be there, and the outcome may also not be there. It may be very poor, if there is any. Okay, and not only not just the hours of working, but when required, they should be given what? Leaves and holidays also, according to the requirement. All right, the next is, yes, now see, as I said just now, education. See, general education, of course, it is required to broaden your outlook. Okay, but technical education is very important. Technical education, technical training is very important for you to get specialized in your job, you know, or to get specialized in the work that you are doing. So as far as possible, what the employers should make some arrangement of providing what technical education facilities to all level of workers, to the workers of all the categories, so that their efficiency level goes up. Alright, so well, these are the topics that we talked today. That is the efficiency of labor. We also saw the various factors affecting efficiency of labor, and especially what we saw today is in India, the efficiency of labor is very low compared to the labors in other countries, and what are the reasons behind that. We also saw that, and we also made some suggestions. Okay, for today we're going to stop here, and in the next class we will see the division of labor. Till then, stay tuned and stay safe.